Welcome back there, WeldTube family. We're back on the set of WeldTube in Houston, Texas. I've got a bit of plate prepped up, a bucket full of 8010 5/32 electrodes. I'm going to do some demos and different techniques of stacking dimes with 8010 on plate. Check it out. I've got some 1/2 inch plate ground to bright steel. I've just marked a straight line for something to follow close to the edge, because we're just going to stack beads along the whole plate till it's full out. We'll do it in the flat position, the 2G position and the 3G position. It's just great to practice stacking, overlapping, getting different profiles. I'm going to be using the Miller XMT, starting at about 120 amps, and I'll change the amps up and down, and that will be reflected in the tempo in which I scoot forward and backwards to stack the dimes. So this is going to be a great application for training purposes. So I've got it set at a nice position, waist height, got plenty of room to prop on. It's always important to have a place to prop, and the ABCs of welding always be comfortable. So I'm going to light off on 120 with the Pipeliner AP 5/32 4mm electrode, and I'm just going to, it's going to be just a bit of a elongated oval shape, just to get them stacking up with nice separation between each stack, and wet it out into the edges. Yeah, let's go. It's when you come to the end, come right to the end, loop back a little bit, fill that crater up and pop out. Now I'm just going to brush this off and stack another one 50% on, 50% on the fresh plate. Now I've gone ahead and turned it up to 130 or 131 amps. You'll notice that on this pass, the steps are going to be a lot quicker. That's just in relation to the amps and your travel speed. Now I'm going to break arc probably halfway and practice a restart as well. Because this is practice plate, you always want to practice those restarts as well. Now, got a pretty decent drag angle, and I'm overlapping that previous weld by 50%. Just trying to catch the high ridge of that bead with my furthest edge of the bead I'm running at the moment. Now without touching that, I'm going to strike maybe 1/2 inch ahead of it, come around, loop into that crater and continue. Now I think 131 amps may have been a little high for the 5/32 rods on the 1G position. There was a lot of arc instability and a lot of excess spatter. So I think 125 will be good. I'll run a few more of that, but that's what this is about. Finding your heat settings, running rods, stacking them, seeing where you like. All right, I'll get into that. I'll run a few more, and then we'll progress to the 2G position. Now I've gone and repositioned my workpiece into the 2G position. We've progressed through the positions. Now I'd suggest fill that whole plate out with 1G or until you're comfortable enough to move on to the next. All right, and staying at those same 125 amps, my manipulation of the weld puddle will be pick up that bottom edge and on that backstroke, just a slight upward motion to the top, and it's like an elongated Z. The motion that I'm going to use, it's a very elongated Z pattern, and that's to keep that molten metal above the center plane of the weld. Now the feedback from that puddle I got was, I think I was maybe 5 amps too high. I was having to hang around on that top edge to reduce that undercut. So I've gone ahead, turned it down 5, and I'll get back into it, and I'll do that. I'll stop halfway and do another restart. A weld puddle is a lot more controllable, and I don't have to hang around too long on the top edge to reduce the undercut. A broken arc, I'll just reuse that same electrode, strike 1/2 inch in front, come back, pick that puddle up and continue on. Now I've repositioned the plate into the 3G position. Once again, fill that whole plate out in the 2G position or until you're comfortable or until you've run out of rods. Just for practice, get used to, the puddle reacts differently wherever it is on the plate, and the plate's to represent where you may be on a pipe. So just run as many rods in every position as you can. We're in the 3G now, so this is, in my opinion, the hardest position to stack metal on a plate. So the technique is probably just going to be, dependent how the puddle's acting, it'll either be a nice just whip just to keep that metal up, or I might have to do a little shake to spread it out so the pool's not trying to run in front of me either side. Yep, I'm still on 120 amps. I may go up or down on the next pass, but we'll see how this one goes. Those amps were actually spot on. That puddle didn't want to outrun me or anything, so I'm just running a few more beads. I'm going to stop on this one and do a restart. So stop. I'm just going to light back up with that same rod. Same thing, 1/2 inch below, come up, pick the top of that last ripple up and go ahead. Alright, now I've got it tacked up in the 4G position overhead. Ground a straight line so I can follow. The motion is just going to be a very exaggerated whip and pause, whip and pause. Probably the entirety of the run. I'm going to start on 120 amps on the XMT. That should be good power. We'll get into it. With this overhead portion of laying beads on plate, you want to get yourself in a comfortable position and be welding away from yourself, because you want all the sparks on that side, so you're not burning up yourself, obviously. So those heat settings were pretty good. I am going to get in, run half a rod, do a restart, and much the same as the restart on the top. Slide ahead of it, come back, pick that last ripple up and carry on. I'm about halfway. I'm going to break half to whip out. Leaves me a nice crater to light back up in. I'll use the same rod, strike about 1/2 inch before, come back in, pick that last ripple up and continue. All this is just repetition. The more you do, the more comfortable you'll become. And the more comfortable you become, then you want to change things up. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions. Just getting familiar. There you go, guys. It's a cool little exercise for you to practice your 60, 70, 80 X10 electrodes, get more comfortable, more consistent, and just overall better with them. As I said, try and run the whole plate out with the position. Keep certain plates for different positions. And yeah, when you get more comfortable with that process and that position, change your heights, get uncomfortable then. Make sure you get uncomfortable after you become comfortable. That's all it's about. Do the hard stuff in the practice and the easy stuff in the field. Hope you like this video. Like, subscribe, comment to WeldTube on YouTube, like their Insta page, and you can follow me at Chesam Welding. Cheers.